The raison d'etre of the National Development and Social Fund is really to administer the funds which emanate from the Citizenship by Investment Program. We're set up by law, and our founding regulations state that 70% of those proceeds have to be administered by a specially set up government agency. Has two main objectives. The first objective is obviously linked to economic development. And the second objective is towards the social well-being of the nation. So in actual fact, this is a differentiating factor from other sovereign wealth funds. We are a sovereign wealth fund as well, and the main investment objective, the overriding objective, is to preserve capital and obviously seek a positive total return in the long term. Right now, the NDSF has two main portfolios. One is a discretionary portfolio, which is managed by the Central Bank of Malta, and 30% of our investable funds are channeled through this portfolio, and the remaining 70% is invested in our directed portfolio. The directed portfolio contains strategic investments, which are for the long term, and all our social investments are part of the directed portfolio. The fund is guided by an investment policy, which is basically outlines the way that we can invest. It is also based upon the Santiago Principles. The Santiago Principles, in brief, are 24 guiding practices and principles which were adopted by the International Sovereign Wealth Fund Group and are also supported by the IMF. One important aspect to mention is that the investment decision is totally autonomous from government. Normally, governments are more concerned on the day-to-day issues. But having an agency which has a long-term view obviously gives space for better planning, long-term planning, and sustainability. So what we try to achieve at NDSF is economic, environmental, and also social sustainability in what we do. Sovereign wealth funds should invest as much as possible pro-cyclically, that is when things are going well, and obviously the converse is when things are not going well, counter-cyclically, they will be able to continue the pace of growth. Maybe not at the same level, but at least growth does not stop. During the financial crisis, when everybody stopped investing, then obviously this led to an economic crisis. I think it translates into peace of mind. Not all income generated on a national level is spent, but there is an element of savings, there is an element of development, and there is a large element of social well-being. If you like, it's like having an insurance policy, but you're obviously not paying for it. So I think having a sovereign wealth fund is something positive. I think all countries should have a sovereign wealth fund, to be honest. I don't like the notion of spending everything you earn. Putting aside an amount of money for the future is as a buffer.